What if the thing you trusted most at work started telling you secrets you were never meant to know? My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I used to be a night security guard at Riverside Industrial Complex. I say used to be because after what happened 3 months ago, I'll never set foot in that building again. And it all started with a logbook that wouldn't stay quiet. The job was simple enough. Walk the premises every hour, check the doors, scan the rooms, and log everything in the security logbook. The same leather-bound logbook that had been used for 30 years, filled with the mundane entries of guards before me. 11:47 p.m., building secure, all doors locked. 2:15 a.m., checked basement. Nothing unusual. Standard stuff. Boring, even. That's what I liked about night shifts. Predictable, quiet, just me and my thoughts. But on my 3rd week, something changed. I was making my 2 a.m. rounds when I returned to the desk and opened the logbook to make my entry. That's when I saw it new handwriting that wasn't mine, written in the same blue ink I'd been using. You missed the door in Section C. My blood went cold. Section C was the old manufacturing wing, locked down for years. I hadn't even gone near it, and I was alone, completely alone. I convinced myself someone was messing with me. Maybe the day shift guard. A prank. But the next night, it happened again. I wrote, 12:30 a.m. perimeter check, complete. And when I came back from the bathroom, maybe 5 minutes later, there was a response beneath my entry. The window on floor 3 is unlocked. You should check it. My hands were shaking as I climbed those stairs. The building had 4 floors, and floor 3 was mostly abandoned offices. And sure enough, at the end of the hallway, a window was wide open, curtains billowing in the night breeze. I hadn't unlocked it. That window had been painted shut for years. I logged it. 3rd floor window was open. Secured it. How did you know? I waited, staring at the page. For 10 minutes, nothing. I was about to close the book when letters began to form slowly, like invisible ink appearing, one word at a time. Because I'm watching, always watching, just like you're supposed to. I slammed the book shut and didn't open it for the rest of the shift. But I came back the next night. I don't know why. Maybe I needed answers, or maybe I was too stubborn to quit. I opened the logbook, and the first page was covered in entries I'd never seen before. They were dated from decades ago. Guards I'd never met. March 14th, 1987. Something is wrong with this place. June 2nd, 1993. I heard footsteps behind me. Nobody there. October 19th, 2001. The logbook knows my name. How does IT know my name? And then, on the most recent page, written in my handwriting, but not by me, Sarah. Tonight, you need to go to the basement. There's something you need to see. Something we all saw. Something that never left. I should have run. I should have quit right then. But instead, I grabbed my flashlight and headed down. The basement was exactly as I remembered. Concrete floors, old machinery, cobwebs everywhere. But in the corner, behind a shelf of rusted parts, I found something I'd never noticed before. Another logbook. This one was ancient, crumbling, covered in dust. I opened it, and my flashlight flickered. Every page was filled with the same sentence, written over and over in different handwriting. IT watches through the book. IT writes through us. IT never clocks out. My flashlight died. In the darkness, I heard the sound of pages turning from upstairs, where I'd left my logbook open on the desk. I ran. I didn't stop running until I was in my car, speeding away from Riverside Industrial Complex. I never went back. I called in sick, then quit over email. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Last week, I got a call from the new night guard. He wanted to know if I'd left any notes for him, any tips for the job. I told him no and wished him luck. Then he said something that made my blood freeze. That's weird, because there's an entry in the logbook from your last shift. It says, "Tell Sarah we miss her. Tell her the book misses her. Tell her we're always here, waiting for her to come back and finish her shift." I never wrote that entry. But Sarah, if you didn't write it, who did? I moved to a different city. I work day shifts now, in a place with computers instead of logbooks. But sometimes, late at night, I'll find a pen in my hand and words on paper that I don't remember writing. And they always say the same thing. Time to log in, Sarah. Your shift never ended. Have you ever worked late at the office? So late that you're the only one left? When the fluorescent lights hum a little too loudly, and every shadow seems to move just at the edge of your vision? Now imagine you're not alone. Imagine someone else is working late, too. Someone who's been working late for the past 40 years. My name is Marcus Chen, and I need to tell you about Daniel Reeves, the employee who never clocked out. I started working at Hartwell & Associates, an accounting firm downtown, about 6 months ago. It's one of those old buildings, all dark wood paneling and vintage elevators that creak when they move. My desk was on the 7th floor, and I was the new junior analyst, which meant long hours, really long hours. I'd often be there until 9 or 10 p.m., finishing reports while everyone else went home to their families. That's when I first saw him. It was a Thursday night, around 8:45 p.m. I was alone on the floor, or so I thought. I got up to refill my coffee, and that's when I noticed the light was on in one of the corner offices, Office 714. Through the frosted glass, I could see a silhouette. Someone hunched over a desk, typing away. I assumed it was another late worker, maybe a partner putting in extra hours. But something felt off. The building was silent, except for my own footsteps and that constant typing. When I walked past the office, I glanced inside. There was a man, maybe in his 50s, wearing a brown suit that looked decades out of style. He never looked up. Just kept typing on an old typewriter, not a computer, a typewriter. His fingers were moving in mechanical precision. The next morning, I asked my supervisor about the guy in 714. She looked at me strangely. Office 714, Marcus, that office has been empty for 3 years. We've been trying to rent it out. I insisted I'd seen someone. She walked me down to the office and unlocked it. Empty. Dust on every surface. No desk, no typewriter, nothing. "You must have been tired," she said with a sympathetic smile. "Late nights can play tricks on you." But I knew what I'd seen. That night, I stayed late again. This time, I was ready. At 8:30 p.m., I positioned myself with a clear view of Office 714. 8:45 p.m., the light flickered on. Through the frosted glass, the silhouette appeared, sitting, typing. I stood up, my heart pounding, and walked slowly toward the office. The sound grew louder with each step. When I reached the door, I took a deep breath and looked inside. He was there, real as anything, the man in the brown suit, typing on that ancient typewriter, papers stacked high around him. His face was pale, his eyes sunken, and he was focused intensely on the paper. I knocked on the glass. He stopped typing. Slowly, his head turned toward me. Our eyes met. His were completely black. Not dark brown, not shadowed black. Like staring into empty wells. His mouth opened, and in a voice like grinding gears, he said, "The report is due tomorrow." The report is always due tomorrow. Then he turned back to his typewriter and continued working. I ran to my desk, grabbed my phone, and did what I should have done. From the beginning I researched the building's history. What I found chilled me to the bone. In 1984, an employee named Daniel Reeves died at his desk. Heart attack. Office 714. He'd been working late, as he did every night, trying to finish an audit that was due the next morning. They found him the next day, slumped over his typewriter, still wearing his brown suit. The article mentioned something else. Colleagues reported that in the weeks before his death, Daniel had become obsessed with his work. He would talk about how the report was never finished, how it was always due tomorrow, how he could never leave until it was done. And according to one witness, his last words were, "I can't clock out yet. The work isn't finished." I looked up from my phone. The light in Office 714 was still on. Against every instinct, I walked back to that office. The door was ajar. This time, I know it had been closed before. Inside, Daniel was still typing. The papers around him had multiplied, covering every inch of the invisible desk, spreading across the floor. All of them filled with the same sentence, typed over and over. "The report is due tomorrow. The report is due tomorrow. The report is due tomorrow, Daniel," I said, my voice shaking. "Daniel Reeves, you need to stop. You need to rest." His hands froze mid-keystroke. Slowly, he turned to face me again. "I can't. If I stop, I'll fail. If I fail, I'll lose everything. The work must be done." "The work is never done. The work is done," I told him, surprising myself with the firmness in my voice. "Daniel, you finished it. 40 years ago, you did your job. It's time to clock out." For the first time, something changed in his expression. Confusion, relief, fear. "Finished. Yes, you can rest now." The typewriter began to fade. The papers dissolved like smoke. Daniel looked down at his hands, and for just a moment, his eyes cleared. They weren't black anymore, just tired. So incredibly tired. "I'm so tired," he whispered. "I just want to go home." "Then go home, Daniel. Clock out." He smiled a sad, grateful smile, and then he was gone. The light in Office 714 went dark. I quit my job the next week, found something with better hours, better work-life balance. But I still think about Daniel Reeves, about a man so consumed by the work that even death couldn't release him from it. The office building sent me my final paycheck with a note. We finally rented out Office 714. The new tenant says it has a peaceful feeling, like someone who was troubled finally found rest. I'd like to believe that's true. But sometimes, late at night when I'm working from home, I hear it faint and far away, like an echo from another world, and I close my laptop. Because some of us learn the lesson before it's too late. No job is worth never clocking out.